Hi there, hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Morgan, who is a Dr. Marc Method grad. She has a wonderful personal story, and I'm going to get her to tell a little bit more about it. But she's obviously really, really into health and fitness and was able to drop over 100+ pounds and take her passion for this experience and nutrition and turn it into a nutrition coaching business with the help of the Dr. Marc Method. So I see she just popped on right now. I'm going to ask her to join, and then we'll go from there. So Morgs, we'll bring you on in a second here. And if you want to just put request to join, there we go. And we're ready to rock. Cool. Should be popping on here in a second. Hi, Morgan.
Figured it out.
We're here. We're doing it. Okay, cool. Thank you for joining me. I'm really looking forward to chatting. You have a wonderful personal story and transformation story and stuff. So for anyone that doesn't know about you, can you just fill it like what's the health and fitness journey look like over the last few years?
Yeah, just right after high school, I was an athlete as a kid. I played high-level soccer and basically could eat whatever I wanted. And
Hmm.
then got into a horrible accident in Mexico when I was 15, and so that kind of ended my soccer career. But I just kept kind of eating whatever I wanted and not exercising basically at all.
Hmm.
Um, and the next thing I knew, I kind of woke up and was like 230 pounds.
No
And
kidding. Yeah.
yeah, it was like a 7 year span sort of thing of just like partying and that kind of thing. Lots of mental health stuff just because with concussive symptoms, that kind of thing. And so that
Hmm.
definitely didn't help in regards to, my eating habits and the drinking and that kind of thing. So yeah, one day I woke up and I was 230 some pounds and just, I didn't recognize, like I felt the athlete inside of me, but my body definitely didn't, show that. And I didn't feel that way. So yeah, just started to make small changes kind of over a series of a long time. It's almost a
Yeah.
decade now, but
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of just started walking and then I started eating better. And then I found, I can't even remember how it came across my screen, but I found keto and I started eating keto, and that,
Yeah.
was beneficial for me at the time. This is like fast forwarding like years and years kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I then got my personal training cert from ISSA. And then as I was going through that, I loved it. I think it's a fantastic course, but I noticed like it's this humongous textbook, but there's like this much about nutrition. And
Hmm.
I found that for my own personal journey, I could exercise and exercise and exercise, and nothing made as much of an impact as, your diet and watching what you ate and experimenting with different diets and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I noticed how, not bored necessarily, bored is the wrong word, but how I
Yeah.
gravitated more towards the chapters with nutrition and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided to look into nutrition, and that's when I kind of came across your wonderful course.
Oh,
So I've been
awesome.
following, you for a really long time, and I love talking about food, and I love educating people about food and talking, like, people love talking about food. It's awesome.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
you have the amazing personal story, and thank you for sharing that because it's like honestly really, really powerful stuff, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. Um, you had this experience and probably wanted to help others, started with personal training, but it just wasn't resonating with you, didn't land kind of thing, but the nutrition
mhm.
stuff stuck. And like how have you been able to like help people since that part? Like what are you focusing on?
Well, personally, so we started, well, I started my kind of training just doing like friends and family, and I'm a
Yep.
massage therapist. So, during treatments, I would get talking about, people would be like, oh, I just need to lose weight or I need to
Mhm.
tone up or whatever. And so I'm
For
like,
sure.
you kind of insert yourself into the conversation, into people's brains. So,
Well,
um,
I actually, to stop you for a second, I think the reason why they're bringing it up is because they know you have like the path. They trust in you that like you've been through something similar, and they're opening up to you about that because they know already that you're their person,
for
right? Like
sure.
they
Yeah.
right they look to you for that kind of guidance and support, or even just like bouncing ideas off them. So when you say insert yourself into the conversation, I feel like your personal experience has already kind of put you there.
It is true. And I mean, talking about weight loss and weight gain and wanting to change your body is a really vulnerable thing.
Hmm.
And it's almost got a negative connotation because it then for some reason implies that you don't like who you are already. But I don't believe that. I think that you can love who you are and still want to change and get healthier. So that's kind of where I've kind of moved my scope. Um,
Yep.
in regards to like helping people live, like I have a insane respect for the people who compete. I tried the bodybuilding thing myself and it is super super hard, but
Yep.
99% of the population doesn't want to do bodybuilding. So people
Right.
just want to talk about like, hey, how can I still enjoy life and
Hmm.
also do what you did? And I've done all the wrong things throughout my, it's all trial and error, right? So I can
Yep.
help people kind of skip all the trial and error and move towards kind of that enjoying life and also being healthy and also looking your best kind of thing.
Totally.
So,
Totally. No, I
yeah.
mean that's really, really powerful stuff because I completely agree with your ad. And I think a lot of times we get in these situations and people are like, oh, maybe you're preying on people's insecurities talking about this stuff. I think you're validating exactly how they're feeling and they want to talk about it and they want a path and they want to feel better and move towards just a place where they're more confident about themselves and how that kind of like influences the rest of their lives. So that's the way I see it. And I agree with you completely on that. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times people think these are people that they're raising their hand and they want to talk about it. Right. And it's
Yeah.
a different scenario. They're asking for help.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, being that, my journey, I guess, is relatable. I think, especially after
Hmm.
high school and everything, like people just keep doing what they've been doing in high school, and all of a sudden your metabolism slows down or you stop
Hmm.
exercising or
Sure.
whatever. And then,
Yeah.
10 years down the road, you're like, wow, where did this come from kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
we're not educated as a society on proper nutrition and
Hmm.
for whatever I mean it's like I said it's a societal thing, so
Yep.
everybody kind of is ends goal their end goals are always aesthetic, and
Hmm.
I have personally gained a lot of confidence and a lot of self-love by feeling in control of my habits as opposed to
Hmm.
what I look like I was always kind of chasing that number at the end of this, like that on the scale, right? But where I've found the most self love and respect and happiness is taking control of the things that I can control. And as a woman, the scale fluctuates and all that kind of thing. But when I
Yep.
can look at myself at the end of the week and be like, I ate well, I moved my body every day, I hydrated, that's a win at the end of the day. And I guess like I said, I'm moving kind of away from the aesthetics solely as a goal and
Hmm.
more whole body health, I suppose, mental,
Totally.
physical, spiritual, emotional, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it's really, really important. Like, thank you for sharing that because people need to hear this and they need to hear that like there's people going through things like this. There is, there's a path for them to improve and get better, and there's a bunch of different ways to measure that kind of stuff. So, just talking to you, not that I ever forget how passionate about this stuff you are, but it's really, really evident, which is really, really cool, and I love being around people like that. People that are passionate about this stuff, then want to help others and often struggle with taking the next step to build a business in it. So
Yeah,
do you and
they are
obviously like
completely two separate things.
yeah, totally. And I know like obviously I have a program starting up next week here and it's on the forefront of my mind and talking about it and stuff. But do you remember where you were when we were chatting last December about you joining the program? Do you remember like kind of what you were struggling with in terms of taking this next step and now taking your incredible experience and personal story and turning into a business where you can help people and make some money? Do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, so we had started, like I was doing just kind of on the side stuff for friends and family, doing fitness and meal plans and things like that. And I remember, I believe our group fitness program was starting up just as
Hmm.
I was entering the course.
Yeah.
And I spent 8 hours doing meal plans for people. And
Hmm.
like, I figured out their macros, I figured out their calories, and then I built them a meal plan, each individual person.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, there's got to be a better way, man. Like, that was
Uh-huh.
so labor intensive. And 99% of the time, and this was, I knew this for like my personal experience and also my past clients, you give someone a meal plan and then 3 days later they're sending you Snapchats of them like eating popcorn twists and stuff. And you're like, oh my
Hmm.
God, people don't want to be told what to eat, even though you
Hmm.
think you do. So when we talked about it, it was something that just in my gut, I knew I had to do. I had to find that other lane of like, okay, we need to educate people on how to eat, not what to eat. And your
Hmm.
course was absolutely something that hit that portion of it. But then also, there's a large portion of, like you said, the business aspect of things and the marketing aspect of things, and telling people not necessarily what they want to hear, but what they're going to get from your coaching services.
Totally. That's really, really important. I think a lot of times we're so like we're in a similar space where we really enjoy this stuff, want to know more about it, and we kind of get in that education mindset where it's only natural for us to share like what we think people want to know, when in reality, what inspires them and motivates them to take action is the
Mm-hmm.
results that they're chasing, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
times, and it doesn't mean just abandoning the first part because we are educators, we enjoy that stuff, but it also means telling that other side of the story that kind of captivates them and motivates them and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so
totally.
that's
So,
one of the things that I really took from that course was taking my story, and it was already all over my Instagram, and people
mhm,
they were resonating with it, relating to it, but I wasn't telling it in the proper way. I was just telling like, this is my story, whereas it should have been, this is my story and it can be yours too, and this is how you do it, right?
yeah,
So yeah, it definitely switched that for me
for
for
sure.
sure.
I think it just gives people an opportunity, right? It's like it makes it a little more clear and obvious that there is a next step. There's an opportunity for them to take that step with you, and you're just kind of closing that gap. And the response is always incredible. Like it really, really is. But
Hmm.
people don't know that unless you make it a bit more obvious, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, totally. You had mentioned a lot too. Uh, One of the things that improved for you was your confidence around this like coaching process. And I know there was a few times you reached out and you had mentioned like, I know exactly what I need to do now, and I know when I'm using these tools and these strategies that I learned, like clients are going to get results, and that just like built some momentum for you. So, like, do you have any like? Can you speak to that at all?
For sure, yeah. I mean, when I was, pre Dr. Mark method, I would make, you know, uh, fitness plans, and I would make meal plans for people, and I didn't have a lot of success. So it
Hmm.
does kind of, I knew what I was doing, but there was just that aspect of the adherence that I was kind of missing.
Hmm.
And that does kind of wear on your confidence a little bit.
Totally.
And just switching the methods up a little bit in the way that I coach, what I say to people, and how we do it. We give the people the freedom essentially to, this is your plan and you can follow it, or you can have as much freedom as you want in regards to, I think you referenced that study where the guy ate nothing but Twinkies and protein shakes for 3 months and still lost weight. I tell people that all the time and they don't believe me. So I'm like, here's the article. It's true. If you
Hmm.
want to do this, you're probably not going to feel super cool, but you can. And
Yeah,
people are like, okay, cool, I can still have beer and I can still do this. Whereas,
exactly.
before it was like all of these meal plans, it just felt really restrictive. And so the adherence was quite low.
Yeah,
And now I know, it, I try and be humble about it, but at the, risk of sounding cocky, I know that if you follow what Mob gives you, you're going to see results. And
totally.
before I was like, here you go. This will probably work.
For
And
sure.
even now, I'm just kind of like, every now and then I look through our client lists and I'm blown away by, the success that we've had and the other people's success. And so therefore it's our success, right? But um, yeah, it's kind of cool feeling like I do know what I'm talking about. Whereas before I'm like, I mean, I went to school for it. This will
Yeah,
probably work kind of thing. So
totally. Yeah. No, I think it's just like anything else. It's one of those things where I don't think it's cocky at all, Morgan. Like I really don't. I think it's one of those things where you're just like you now you have the skills and tools and you've built the confidence to know that like you will be able to adjust things, you'll be able to find the solution, you will work towards it with someone that's also willing to work towards it, and things will move in the right direction. And that to me isn't like that's not cocky, that's just confidence that things will move in the right direction.
definitely. And actually, I think you hit the nail on the head in regards to people who are, like the right fit clients and all that kind of thing that we look at for it, massage and that kind of thing. People who are willing to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, when you put someone on a meal plan, you put someone on a fitness plan that is kind of like cookie cutter and something that's maybe biased to you and not to them,
Mm-hmm.
they're less willing to work with you. Whereas now with the methods, like the new methods that I have, people are like, oh, this is awesome. Like, 90% of people are like, this is awesome. Some people just aren't there yet, and that's cool. Whereas before, when you put someone in a box that they don't fit in, it doesn't really work. Whereas with this method, you're fitting the box to the person, if that makes any sense.
Completely. No, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I can see the success that you've had by being able to like
Mm-hmm.
put those, put that plan into place. And that's really, really cool. Coaching, you're ramping it up again. And you had made a mention the other day about some special goals around you building your business up for some specific things. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yes,
exciting.
it is cool. Yeah. So, my partner and I both run Mob, and
Yeah.
we got engaged at the beginning of August. And
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
And so, even before that, we went on a trip after the crazy pandemic. We decided to get the hell out of Saskatoon, and we
Yep.
went to Banff, and we basically just used our Mob money to just pay for the whole thing. And now we're
Hmm.
like, okay, we can set financial goals now for each month to pay for our wedding next year. And so realistically,
Amazing.
like that's the goal, is to not have to take kind of out of pocket and have Mob pay for our wedding. So that'll be super cool.
How cool would that be? Being able to fund this super memorable, like, life event with helping people through nutrition and your passion and stuff. It's like really,
Mm-hmm.
really inspiring. And I'm hoping come next year, you're going to send me a message that's like, we did it. And I can highlight this as, the next thing. It's like the Dr. Mark method will help you pay for your wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's
Can you
wonderful.
make
And
that happen?
honestly, I will try to make that happen. I will make that happen. Yes, I can.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
And I
it.
mean, for now, you can be like, hey, you want to go on a trip? The Dr. Mark method will help you pay for it, because it
There we
did.
go. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
If anyone was on the fence about the program right now, what would you tell them?
I mean, just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but honestly, I,
If
you know,
someone's like, I
for,
don't have, like, I'm really passionate about this stuff. I'd love to make it work. I'd love to create a business doing this. And this is where, like my dream is, but maybe I'm not ready to invest, or I don't have the money, or maybe the time. Like, what would you tell them around that?
yeah. And that was a big thing for me too. I mean, obviously, financially, some people are strapped for
Yeah.
things like that, but honestly, it paid for itself within the first, like, I wasn't even done the course and it had paid for it. It paid for itself. And time will pass anyway. And if you're truly, passionate about helping people and passionate about nutrition, do something that's, 3 months from now, you're going to be proud of, and you're going to
Hmm.
be, you know, already on the next step or 6 steps or whatever towards doing something that you're actually passionate about. So few of us actually get to do stuff that we love and get paid for it. And
Hmm.
so turn your passion project, turn you know, your seemingly lofty goals into a reality. And this is definitely the way to do it. It's super manageable. Like, I worked full time and did it.
Hmm.
Time definitely is a big factor for a lot of people, not only
Yeah.
in fitness and that kind of thing, but also for
Yeah.
education. But it was really manageable. It's like an
Awesome.
hour, talking to people. And the coolest thing too is you get to meet other people who are just as nerdy about this as you are. And
Hmm.
it's fantastic. So yeah, it really does pay for itself, both financially and from a time perspective.
Totally.
It's not like you're going to be bogged down with homework or anything like that. You're just learning the essentials that you can take and utilize. Like, even the one week when we learned about you know finding macros for people or something like that, like, I implemented that literally like the next week of my next clients. It's tangible stuff that you can implement as soon as you learn it.
Totally, totally. And then we get to try it all out, which is the nerdiest part of it all, working with an
Yeah.
actual client, right?
Yeah,
And that,
definitely.
like, just what other better way to build confidence than to get some reps in?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean,
Yeah.
under it always, like, it builds your confidence working with other people and getting to kind of do something with somebody, and then you bounce it off of other people, and then you get all these varying ideas and all these varying viewpoints, and you get the positive reinforcement back, or the constructive criticism or whatever, and it helps you grow as a coach as well. So yeah, that was the coolest part, definitely, was working with people, getting your opinion on things like that. in regards to like working with an actual person. So yeah, it was really beneficial and kind of eliminated any sort of like jitters you might have after finishing a course.
Totally. Oh, that's really, really good to hear. Coach Mo, thank you for your time. I really, really appreciate this. And I'm really excited to be looking forward to chatting next year and seeing you make the financial wedding dream happen.
Yeah, I can, if you want, with for our wedding, we'll have like sponsored by Mob, sponsored by Dr. Marc Method, like
This
all
is
over the place.
I've never, that would make me so
Yeah,
happy.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have, yes, I do want that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for spending the time today.
Okay, thanks, Marc.
All
Appreciate it.
right. See ya.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.